once the data we heard that they were experiencing trouble, they were on their descent, and then when the tracking system went out and everything went out, the only way you could explain it was a catastrophic implosion. And we all have not talked to anybody because we knew today would be the day when it would be confirmed. Right, Jim?
Even though we felt we knew what the outcome was going to be, and it was certainly zero surprise to me today, I was even able to visualize the wreck site in my mind over the last few days, and as described, I think it's exactly what we expected. But I can't imagine what these poor families have been through over the last 4 days, being given false hope here, banging noises, this and that, and it must have been just horrible for them, and I feel so bad for them. But I also felt that, as we agreed, Bob, that it would be insensitive to come forward with a dissenting voice to the story that was in motion at the time. I just wish we could have gotten an ROV to the site much much and gotten eyes on, which took 4 days, and this thing just seemed like a prolonged nightmare.
You two
the French knew exactly where to go. As soon as they arrived, they put their vehicle in and they dove to the spot of the last contact and dropped down, and there was the wreckage.
This was such a preventable tragedy. We've never had a tragedy like this in the entire history of deep submergence, deep diving. You have these, highly certified systems like Alvin at Woods Hole, which Bob is very familiar with. Even the Russian submersibles that I dove with, every 5 years they had to be reclassified and recertified, and so on. And you have all these legitimate deep diving operations around the world, and even most of the tourist operations around the world use certification from, let's say, ABS, the American Bureau of Shipping, and this particular outfit didn't do that. I had deep concerns about the technology that they were using, composite fiber wound filament hull, which I don't believe has any place in deep submergence, and I know a thing or two about the engineering that goes into subs. I designed and built my own sub and went, at one point 10 years ago, went 3 times deeper than Titanic at the Challenger Deep. So it's all just engineering, and these are understood and known problems. The last thing somebody should be thinking about when they get into a sub to pay to go deep as a tourist or as a, like a lay explorer, they shouldn't have to worry about the sub that they're in. This is just engineering, and it's the 21st century.
Al, I've dove in 9 different deep submersibles, and I've never worried about the integrity of the hull.
Yeah, you should be worried. If you're going to Titanic, you should be worried about entanglement or some other problem. You shouldn't be worried about the basic platform that you're diving in. Look, I never knew Stockton well, and I had no association whatsoever with Ocean Gate, but I was aware of the nature of their design, and I had been very critical of that type of design. There was a prior design that was being built. It was a competing design to ours to get to Challenger Deep back a decade ago, and I was very vocal even to the people involved in that, saying somebody's going to get killed in a wound filament composite hull. It's just a really, really bad idea. And we don't know, we're speculating right now that was the cause of the implosion. It might have been the dome port, for all we know, which I've also heard was not certified to the depth that it was being dived to. But we don't know right now. But I feel pretty sure that it was that composite hull. But in any case, they never went through any certification process. So that, to me, is misrepresenting themselves to their paying clients. And I guess one of the lessons is caveat emptor. Really look carefully. If you're going to get into a sub, look carefully at the company that designed the sub, look at its certification and all those things. I would also strongly recommend that anybody that's going to take tourists down to a deep site have an ROV on board that can reach the same depth, so that they can assist if there's a problem, especially entanglement, which is really the greater danger for any deep submersible that's operating by itself.